Yeah, today I want to speak with you about CSS basics and something more. And what something more? Something more is box model, grouping and combining selectors, positioning, media queries, and we'll speak today about flex. And you will have also a very interesting and very practical task for our classwork and very funny assignment for your homework. Yeah, and maybe when we will speak about homework, I will put some competition for it because it's like very interesting. Okay. So yeah, here some last lecture recap about some semantic tags and other stuff. So you really need to use them all and to understand clearly what everyone stands for. And yeah, I think that everything will be clearer here when I will upload our last lecture. So yeah, what about box model? It's a very interesting topic, and it's like the basic of CSS, of understanding the components and other stuff. And yeah, sometimes I have a very easy and plain and stupid jokes about like in the last lecture, the yak see with exact yak. Yeah, and here box model, it's like how I see it in my brain. So yeah, what about that one? I need to clear the desk 1 second. Oh, when we work with component, we have some different part of it. Mainly it's content, then we have padding, border, and margin. But what about box model? We have some content. Yeah, content have their inside side, it's padding. Then we have our huge, maybe border, and that's like our primary content. Border can be just with 1 pixel's width. It can be a solid, it can be dotted, it can have different colors and other stuff. So yeah, it's like our primary content and very interesting question. Yeah, and also let's put here some margin. Very interesting question. How do you think? What is the width of that component? Is it that part? Is it that part? Or is it that part? Or that one? So let it be 1, first, 3, and 4 option. How do you think? What is the width of that component? What is the width? Very important question. Does width have their internal paddings? Does they have borders? Does they have external paddings and other stuff? What do you think? Here, second one. Who has maybe other thoughts?
Okay, so margin is distant inside, or
margin is margin part. For example, here it's not skin. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well, let me show just with cursor. So we have some component here, yeah, box, for example. It can have some inside paddings and other stuff. It has some borders, and you can see that it has some spaces between the text box model and between the actual model. Yeah. So the main component have paddings inside and margin outside.
also
Okay. Maybe some other ideas. No answers. Very sad. Okay, so when we speak about box, it's a very good example, and maybe with Skrinia or Sunduk or something like that. And when we have it, and here maybe some gold. We look at it and we see the size of it. Yes, so it's like the actual size. It can be with a very huge borders and other stuff, and borders can be really huge. And when you open it, it's just 1 coin in it. So it will be very sad, but unfortunately, that's the whole size of that box. Let it be like that. So yes, that's like the main idea of it, that sites have that paddings, but very interesting small history fact that Internet Explorer had another opinion with Microsoft, if I'm not mistaken, 3 or Microsoft.
W3 consortium, they think that content is width.
Yeah.
But Internet Explorer, no. Width is what you set borders. And that was like HTML, CSS help to create proper code when one browser, Internet Explorer, like a revolutionary, they said, no, we will render this content like that. But other browsers who obey consortium, they said, no, we will follow the rules. And that was pretty interesting stuff, guys. So that was huge, that was hard. That's why I'm talking about that. It is very important topic.
Yeah, and now we have a very very important rule for everything, and it's literally, oh no, where is my image? Oh no, everything is
basically sometimes happen with desktop version. Maybe you need to refresh or something like that.
Oh yeah, now everything works correctly. Wonderful. So yeah, and now we have a very important rule, box sizing border box, and that interesting selector, just star. It means that it puts styles for every component, every structure, every tag, everything in your HTML code. Yeah, and that box sizing border box, it's literally make that part with paddings inside the whole width. And if you don't put it, it takes your content part. So if we have components like, yeah, I have an example in code. Yeah, here, for example, when we open it, yeah, when we open that code and see it, we can see that we put width for main component, that's text. We put width of 320 pixels. We add paddings, and now it has width of 30 and 1 second. Yeah, and now you can see that it has the size of 350 pixels. So it's literally calculate the main content with 320 pixels. Padding we have 10 and border 10, if I'm not mistaken. What did they put here? Padding 10, border 5. So, yeah, so it's literally make the whole card width of 350 pixels. So we have 320 plus 5 plus 5 plus 10 plus 10. And we have that width of 350 pixels. And it's like a help for front-end developer to just take it in your mind, to always thinking about it, that when you write width, it's not about not only the width, but also your paddings for that component, and also for your borders. And for example, I have a real product example with cards. And here, for example, it's like mobile version. But here it's very important to put the exact size of that card, and we need to put it to 50%. And here, if we don't put that box sizing border box, it will just broke everything, and everything will be very, very cringe, very, very awful, and not very mindful. So yeah, and when we put here, 1 second. yeah, when we put here box size and border box, now it's very strictly 320 pixels, and everything works as it should. And the same story with height. Also, by the way, a very interesting fact that when we work with text and div, we can't hardcode height because you can see that it can bring some problems with mobile adaptivity, with other stuff, and everything will work very awful. So yeah, and here you can see that formula. Let just me move some text. Yeah, and here you can see that without box size and border box, it will work like that, and your actual width will be 350 pixels. So it will calculate internal paddings, it will calculate your borders, and you will need a lot of mental capacity just to take it in your brain. And with box size and border box, you can put it on the highest level, maybe even in inline styles for HTML for your HTML file, or put it in the head of your CSS file. But it's very important to add everywhere. And yeah, it's like not like very basic. It's like Grundfundament основа of CSS styling, and you really need to understand that story. And also, by the way, with box model, it's very interesting that if we have two exact components and we have that margins, yeah, margins is like outside of your component, and we have to do the same margin. For example, let's put it 15 pixels, and we put nearly one more component, but I won't draw it, and here 15 pixels. So how do you think? Will they stand like that, or will they be just 15 pixels between that two components? A very tricky question.
They will be 15 pixels.
Yes. They will be the same, and they won't be 30 pixels. They will be just 15 pixels, and it takes the highest size of that margins between the components. So if there will be 35 pixels, it will put 35 pixels. So yeah, that's it about box model. Yeah, and we slightly move to all possible selectors, and maybe do you have some questions about box model? And I need to.
Can I tell a fairy tale?
Yeah.
So there are a lot of memes in programming, like society or community, about when a cat developer come to make something in front end. Have you seen this kind of memes? Like jokes, like, oh, everything is broken and so on. This one pixel broke everything, and I want to put it like this and near each other, but it's broken. And basically, one has very nice picture at the very beginning of the lecture. One could you show that very first picture of your lecture? Very funny and very very relevant. What backend developer sometimes feels when they touch CSS. Oh, everything broken. You see that eyes should be horizontal, now they're vertical, and so on and so forth. This is why they feel like that. Because they do not understand that basic rules about this first part, this box model, and this box sizing or content sizing, what width actually means, how to put all together, how to put two components, what the margins between components with different margins, how they should be calculated, and so on. So this is very small details, but it is pretty comprehensive. But when people do not dig into that details, they feel like this depression about that, So that's why please be attentive. This very important basic pixel perfect rules of CSS.
Yeah, and I just got it that maybe our recording don't have our camera, so let me stop it and show it again for our camera. So yeah, Yeah, and let's slightly continue with our CSS. So yeah, here it's like really that case with that very gold rule that you need to remember and put everywhere and remember always. So what about selectors? In last lecture, I mentioned all of them, I guess, and how to work with them, and you really have a very successful job and assignments in your homework. So we have some different types of that. We can work with selectors about selectors for your component, such as H1, H2, div, section, and other stuff. We can work with class name. Class name can be repeated for different components because you can put some cards, for example. And 1 second, I will show the example. Yeah, here we will see a lot of that project, and that's very cool, and I love that project a lot. It's like Airbnb or something like that for New York. Yeah, and for example, why do we need the same classes? Because, for example, that card is just one class, it's one component, and it can be repeated, and you can put styles for it, and put that class for every div, for every component that you need, and it will be the same. So, and what also do we have? We have ID selectors. ID selectors must be unique. It can't be repeated because it's very unique, and it's also very needed to be unique because when we work with JavaScript, we want to take maybe only one the very concrete component and put some functionality for it, and we will speak about it when we will speak about JavaScript. And yeah, ID must be unique. Also, we can work with attribute selectors such as type equal to text. It's for inputs and it's for other stuff. And also, if I'm not mistaken, in some homeworks, I saw it. And what about pseudo classes and pseudo elements? I think that we will speak about it a little bit more on our next lecture, but it's very important to mention today. So we have our component, for example, yeah. And what about pseudo classes? Like hover. So here, when we hover with our cursor, our card, it changes our cursor. And it's exactly what we need to do with cards, with buttons, and it's not always the default styles, because, for example, if we speak about div or some section that we want to click, it has a default cursor. And if we speak about a tag for href, for links or images, we can put they have also a tag, not image. A tag have also a pseudo class for active styles when we click on it, when we visited it, and you can customize it all. You can learn about it in the internet. There are a lot of different articles, and I also highly recommend that one. That one resource. There are a lot of different descriptions, there are a lot of different texts, and even tasks and questions. With that, you can try every code, I don't know, every tag, every style. Yeah, and also I learned with that some CSS basics, and you can always return to this webpage and check, I don't know, some your knowledge of it. Yeah. And pseudo elements such as before and after is a very interesting topic, and I need to deep dive in it, but not today, unfortunately. But what about that? So, for example, we have some title, and we want to put some border top or some elements before that, or under or above it, and we can use pseudo classes, and it won't be a component. It will be like pseudo, and it creates with just CSS. So here we can put main before, and here we can create that component. It will be showed here, but not here, and let's really do it right now. Yeah, and here we can see that red square. And if we will look into DevTools, by the way, yeah, a very important mention about DevTools. You can open that DevTools from clicking F12, if I'm not mistaken, on Windows, or if you work on MacBook, you need to click Option Command I. And also very importantly, to click on that toggle device toolbar. And you can see here your mobile adaptivity. You can scroll it, you can resize it, and you can see it on different widths and height of your devices. And also here you can choose what exactly phone or what exactly laptop you want to see. For example, let's see it on iPhone SE, and here it looks like that. Yeah, so here we can see that div class have that before element. And that before element, we put here some content, and it's also very important for that before and after pseudo element. But yeah, we will speak about it a little bit later. So here it creates like pseudo styles, pseudo element. It's not improve or not improve our SEO optimization, and it just exists, and we can use it in different ways. Sometimes it's a very interesting solution. Sometimes you can put images like that or something more. Sometimes if you want to very highly customizable variant of list, you can put also the dots here with before and after element, or if you need to put some, I don't know, end of list element, some I don't know, some images or some funny jokes or something like that. So yeah. And also all selectors have their hierarchy, and priority of CSS selectors get increases from bottom to top. So we have element selector, it's on the bottom, and inline CSS, it's like the most highly prioritized in every style. So if you have some styles that you wrote in your CSS file or in head tag, and then you put that inline CSS will be higher, and it will overwrite everything that you wrote in your CSS file and head tag. So yeah, and also, by the way, everything can be overridden with important tag. It's like you need to write exclamation mark and then the word important, and it's also a very bad practice to use it. But sometimes we need it. Sometimes for debugging, when you want to see that maybe some styles overrides several times, and you just need to override something. Yeah, and also you can group selectors. And for example, here you can see that you can combine them if you have repeated styles. Also, it's very important for clean code, for not repeated yourself. It's like very basic rule. It's also grundfundamentus nova for front-end development that you can't repeat yourself, you mustn't repeat yourself. And if you will work as front-end developer and you will have your mentor, your tech lead, team lead, or someone else who will mentor you, they will write you a lot of comments if they will see the repeated part of codes, and you also need to think about it. But also very important mentioning with don't repeat yourself, it must be balanced, and you don't need to put, I don't know, every tag, every div or every text if they have the same colors. You can make it in different ways, but not like that. So yeah, you can group that selectors, and I saw in some contacts that you you know that rule and someone used it. So yeah, everything is okay, I hope, with that. So also you can have some other interesting stuff. It's descendant selectors, and they target elements inside another element, for example, that part of code, and this will make all p tag elements inside div elements with red color. Also, you can call child selector, and you need to put that symbol and target directly children only. So this applies both styling to li elements that are direct children of UL. Also, you can work with adjacent sibling selector A plus B, and it targets the next immediate sibling. And general sibling selectors targets all siblings after a specified element. You will have, I mentioned it already, but yeah, you will have homework where you can use it all, you can practice it a lot, and I think that everything will be so clear for you. Yeah, and also you can combine them, just writing like that, and this applies styles only to P elements inside elements with the container classes. And I also saw that some of you use it, and it's like very naturally understandable how it works, and you will work with it a lot. So yeah, and let's move to also my one of most favorite topic about positioning. So firstly, yeah, we have static, relative, absolute, fixed, and sticky, but it's not that understandable. And let me just draw on our desk. But I think we need to bless you. But I think I need to. Yeah. Okay. So, but I need also to somehow remember what did I want to say. Okay. So we have some elements. We have our front-end web page. We have some lists. Yeah, and that's it. And maybe for that component, let's do it a little bit abstracting. Here, image, title, button, and here some button also. So generally, by default, we have that static position, and it's like the same order in your web page. So everything is static, everything you can see, it positions step by step, and I think everything clear with that. More interesting when we speak about first part, it's our header. Header, sorry, when you scroll the web page, you want that header to be sticky, that you can see it everywhere. So you scrolled to that, and I don't know, that can be, let it be 2000 pixels, and you can scroll it to the down, and you don't want to scroll to the top just to change your page, just to open the menu, I don't know, just to call or something like that, and we need to make it sticky. And how does it work? Let me just now show you my screen. Yeah. Here you can see that that exact structure that I just drawn, and here we have header, we have some cards and other stuff, and we want that header to be sticky, and that literally what it stands for position sticky, and when you scroll it, you see it here. And when we work with positioning, it's remember that you can place everything that is absolute sticky or fixed with four main CSS styles: is top, left, right, and bottom. It's very easy, and everything is so clear with that. But yeah, when we put position sticky for that header, we also need to write where it should be placed. So here I placed it to the top. Top I put 0 because it's like the start of our web page, and left also is put it to 0, that we need to put it at the start of our page, but from the left side. Yeah, and let me open positioning. So here is our static, and it's not the right order. Yeah, I started with that sticky. So here we write just position sticky, top 0, background color, for example, and some padding. And here you can see the result. If we open our DevTools and change our height, for example, like that, you can see that here it's sticky for the web page, but we have, for example, here relative box, parent relative container, and other stuff, and it just overlaid. And also very important CSS style when we work with positioning is that index. That index stands literally for your place in your web page. And here, for example, let me open 1 second. Yeah, here, for example, we can put that index 10, and it will be on the top. So if you want to put something under all of elements, you need to put that index to 0. Then if you want to work with sticky box, that it should be on the top of everything, it should have the highest size of that index. And it will be always on the top, or anything can overlay him, and everything will work correctly. So yeah, let's move now to also very interesting topic about relative and what does it mean. So positioning relative, it's like a little bit maybe confusing when we speak with static also. And here, for example, you see that static box and relative box, and we put some position relative, top 20 pixels, left 30 pixels. But you need to understand that relative elements that I just draw, for example, here, they also can be relative, and everything else is positioned for relative elements. But here, they also have the same structure as static positioning. And everything is also step by step, but they have now that styles with top, left, right, and bottom. Let me just move that sticky box. Yeah, and here we have that relative, and it's a little bit moved just with that styles of top, left, right, and bottom, and you can place it like here, but using that style top, left, right, and bottom for relative components is not okay. You can use it, but it's a very bad practice. So, and very important changes with static positioning, that you can position absolute component inside the relative component. So what does it mean? You can see that card, for example, here, and you see that it have step-by-step step-by-step components. You have image, you have title, you have subtitle, some location, some other information, price, and details button. And you see that that arrows and the dots are not placed like step by step, not relative, not static, and they are out of our line like structure of our card. And it's positioning absolutely. So we have that general container of image, and inside of that image, we put that arrows. So for the parent components, here it's div with image, we write position relative, and for that arrows, we put position absolute. So here's the example, not on production code. So here we have that, 1 second. Here we have that parent relative container, and it can be also placed differently. It can look like that card or something like that, or even here you can see it. It's a very common practice to use it and to see it. And here we put for that container, we write position relative, and then for absolute box, we write position absolute. And now it have orders of that relative parent, and you can't place it out of that only if you put such top right that is lower than 0, but it placed and located with borders of your parent relative, or the highest div or the highest tag that have that position relative styles. If any component have that, it will be placed under borders of your body. So it will be like put out of everything and placed with just your HTML web page. And another one interesting positioning moment is with position fixed. And here you can see the example of it. It's also a very common practice to put some button here with, I don't know, with some calling, with some messaging, for example, here. And it positioned for your viewport. And when I say viewport, I mean that exact thing that all clients, all users can see. And when you write position fixed, for example, here, I can't remember, bottom, I guess, 100 pixels, and right also like the 100 pixels. And it placed here, so not for the web page, but for your viewport. And if we speak about absolute positioning, you can see it here. It's under, no, it's located in that relative component. So yeah, that's the main idea of positioning, and you will also work with that a lot. And here the example of fixed box. So I put it here, for example, and if we scroll, it will be every time in the same position. So yeah, it works like that. So is everything clear with it? Do you have some questions?
Don't hesitate to ask questions. Okay.
Yeah, and also we have maybe old styles for now, because from my experience, I haven't used it in my projects, but I know that previously a lot of developers used it when we don't have like Flex, Grid, and other systems. It's flawed, and it's also very important to mention about it, because you can place your image or some other div components, like in general components, not only div, left or right, and it has that three different styles. You can clear that styles with clear tag, but yeah, the main idea of it is to place image, for example, and to put it with text, and here we can change left to right. Yeah, and it will be placed rightly. So, okay, so now we have a lot of mobile smartphones, we have iPhone, Samsung, and other companies, and everything now is oriented on mobile phones, and we need our mobile adaptivity for our web pages. And how does it work in CSS? In CSS, we have that media queries, and you need to write that media tag, and then you need to write your conditions. And firstly, I want to say that it's really, really very important to work in pattern, I don't know, in rule that mobile first. Why is it important? Because everything like now, as I said, is oriented for mobile phones. And you need also to think like that. You need to firstly create your mobile header, your components in mobile adaptivity and other stuff, because firstly that clients, that users of your web page that possibly will see will be from the mobile phone, and you need to hold your mental capacity, hold your attention to your mobile adaptivity, and really orient it on that. And now, from my experience, I have a lot of questions from the clients, that from the customers that we have in our company, that they tell me that they don't want to have mobile adaptivity, and I just asked, I always ask them, one second, sorry. Do you need money, or do you want just empty project that anybody will use it? So yes, it's very important to use that mobile adaptivity and that rule. And today we will learn how to do it and how to work with mobile adaptivity. So as I said, you need to write that media, and then you need to write conditions. What about conditions? Conditions, it's min width, max width, orientation, and aspect ratio. To be honest, with orientation and aspect ratio, I think that you will work not very commonly, and it's like a rare thing. And from my experience, I can't remember, to be honest, when I last used it, except our today's lecture. So yeah, and what about mobile first and that rules min width and max width? When we speak, yeah, let me show it. If we want to use that pattern, that rule mobile first, we really need to remember only one tag, min width. So how does it work? We have, for example, here, we have width 62, but unfortunately we can't move it to 0, but yeah. And when we just resize it, you can see it here, the size of it. Oh yeah, I can zoom it. We resize it and we see that it changes the width. And here, for example, 1 second. Let me make it smaller. Yeah, and here, for example, 879, and it can be like tablet. It's the size of the tablet. We don't have mobile phones with such widths, and you need to think that it's breakpoint for your tablet version, and you need to write min width. So after, for example, 800 pixels, you will write styles for your tablet version. And let me yeah, let me put it here. And mark widths, to be honest, I don't like that rule because it break totally the mobile first rule, and sometimes it's very hard to orient it in it and in generally talk about it, because it's like you have your dimension from 0 to 700, for example, and it will be like your mark width. And after that, any styles will be added. And for example, if we add here let me open the file 1 second. Yeah, here, for example, we write pattern 20 pixels, text line center, and then we style that box with different colors for different sizes. Here it's light color, and here it's light blue. And when we speak about max width, if we put here, for example, very important styles like padding that will be the same everywhere, and comment it here, it will be just for mobile adaptivity, and after that breakpoint you won't have it, and that's a very bad. You will need to repeat it after that, or repeat it here, just to have it everywhere. So if you want to some styling, or if you want some coloring, or for example border, you need to change color of it. That on mobile you have border with width of size of 1 pixel, solid style and red, and then after tablet you need to change that border color with black color, and you don't want to repeat that, and you can write just min width, your tablet breakpoint, and write border color. So min width, it's like rund-base fundament основа, as I said earlier, and please don't orient and don't use max width for your styles. Yeah, and also we have two different arguments for that media queries, that conditions. It's orientation, it stands for landscape and portrait values. It also has some media types, print, screen, and all. But in generally, it's also used all, and that's it. And you can read it more in internet or on that webpage that I mentioned earlier, and everything will be clear for you. Yeah, and here I wrote some basic breakpoints that I use in my projects, for example. So for mobile, I use from.
Actually, could you return to the previous slide for a second?
Yeah, I will upload that presentation and you will have access to it.
Thank you.
So yeah, here I put it. I put some breakpoints that I use in my projects. For example, for mobile, I use from 0 to 743 pixels, and tablet from 744 pixels, and other. And not to lie, and to prove everything, here is my project. For example, that's Vesuvio, and that is my code. And in the theme, I have that breakpoints, that values, and they written like that. And they also oriented with min width and mobile first rule. So here you can see that mobile stands with 0. And then we have breakpoints at tablet, and it stands for 744 pixels. And also important to mention that sometimes it can be a little bit confusing because it's not like that square brackets in math or in programming in general that it includes the last value. And you need to remember that, for example, 743 pixels, it will be for mobile. And after that, exactly the 744 pixels, it will be for your tablet styles. So yeah, and that's it for media queries. And now the most interesting and very important part about our today's lecture, it's Flexbox. And it's not the Grundfundament Basels Nova, it's like everything that you need to know about front-end, and you will be like a real front-ender because with that styles you can center div and not to be a bother of front-end development. You can hide that you wrote basically with backend. And yeah, let's just work with it. Here will be like some live coding. Or am I edit that? No, I didn't edit. Okay. So if we want, yeah, not like the start. So previously we speak about HTML and CSS, and everything is located step by step. We have inline elements, we have box model and other stuff, and we have that problem that we need to put that in the same line. We want to have it to be responsive and not to write styles for that, like for every breakpoints, and make it, for example, I think it can be showed here. Okay, not here, but here. For example, we change the width and we want to move it into next line because it have another width and it can't be located inside the one line. So here we have that very wonderful style, and we have Flexbox. 1 second. Yeah, and here, for example, let me firstly create some components. Well, let's name it container and then ID, or let's just work with classes. So yeah, here we have that 3 different divs, and let me zoom it. We want to add some styles for it. So for container, we will write background color maybe gray. For components inside that, for every div, we will write not background color. So let's put here some border. Yeah, and let's now style all other elements. So, yeah, and let me also put here not just text, but also a text tag, and we will work with that too. So we have three different elements of three different sizes, and we want to put it in one line. So we have Flex, and Flex stands for making everything, making life of front-end developers really better. And if you want to learn it basically and all of styles and practice it a lot, you can use that web page. It has a lot of different tasks and very useful, and also there are a lot of information about that. And maybe today I will also use it for my presentation. So we want to inline it, and we can write display flex, and it put it in one line. Now they are in the same line, and you can add here, for example, now different gaps, row gap or column gap, for example, or in general gap. Yeah, it's put it here, and now we can work a lot of different styles of flex. And what do they do? We have general container, and we have three elements, yes? Now we can make justify content, for example, space between, and it puts for the whole width of your container. It's literally makes spaces between the elements for the maximum of width of container. And also we can use some different styles, and justify content is stands for the horizontal styles. And for example, you can make it around, it have now some borders, and also evenly. Yeah, and it's closer for that. But in general, mostly commonly used is justify content space between. And for example, here is use justify content space between. But for example, width, I put it here 33%, but it will be a little bit tricky, and I think I will speak about it a little bit later. So, but if we don't want to use justify content and make something in line, and we need, for example, for tablet version, place it in step-by-step, like in general structure, we can work with not align items, flex direction. Flex direction literally stands for put direction of your components. For example, now it's by default set it to row, but you make it column, and when we upload it, yeah, it's changed to column. We also can have some reverse version, and now third element will be at the top. So yeah, it's like firstly, and then it's like totally reversed. So what's more? What can we also see it here? For example, we can also change order of our elements. We have three different elements, and if we put some order for it, it will be changed, and you can play with it, but it's not also commonly used. But sometimes it's very important to put some cards like on the top of that list, for example, or something like that. Also, we have like really a lot of different styles, but the most commonly used is flex direction, justify content, and when we put 1 second, when we put flex direction to column, justify content doesn't work, and we need to work with not align items. Yeah, work also with align items. Okay. And what is align item stands for? So you want to center it, and you can write center. And now everything is centered, and now you can be a really true front-end developer that can center the div in your web page. And why didn't I put any styles for that? Because now for our div, we can also write display not inline, flex, write align items center, and write also justify content for center. And now our text centered in our circles. Yes, and so let's change that color for maybe yellow. Yeah, now is everything centered, and now you can play with that a lot, and that's like basic styles of it. And let me also show you some magic of flex. For example, let's put width for like that, and we can write flex wrap. Flex wrap, and it's very interesting CSS style because, for example, here I didn't write any flex direction, not row, not column. And here, when I change the size, you can see that here for elements, and they are not located in one line, they are located in two lines. And when they are enough space, they placed in one line. So what is flex wrap? It's literally wrap your list, and it can put into other lines, into other places. Your cards, for example, you need to put exact widths for every cards, and it will calculate automatically that, for example, here I have 4 cards, yes, with the size of, what size? Let me see it. Yeah, with that exact size. For example, let it be 300 pixels, but our container is smaller than 1200, and we don't want to play with or create 2 different divs with first line, with second line, but we need to put a lot of cards into one div. So it will be like a line with unordered list with list elements. And we just write flex wrap for up, and it will work like that. So if we put here some smaller size, 200 pixels, for example, it will just it will be just moved into next line, and if there enough space, they will be located in one line. So yeah, there are a lot of different rules. You can also set some gap, as I made it at the start of that part. You can also specify that you want row gap or column gap, and it will stand for obviously row and gap. And also not prefixing. And also that's all for flex. You can literally work with that a lot and put some align items here. For example, if we write flex start, it will be at the top of your div. If we write flex end, it will be at the bottom of that. Center obviously centered it, and we can also stretch the size of our cards, for example, and it will fulfill the container. So yeah, that's it. And also, oh yeah, also very important to mention about align self or justify self, that you can, as here, you can change the order of the exact component of the exact element. You can also change the align self and, for example, put it to the end or to the center or something like that. So yeah, that's it. You can read about it. You can play in that game that I mentioned here. And they have 24 tasks, and I made some of them, not made like for that web page, but read them, and they're very usefully. They also describe all the styles, and you can really understand how Flex works just with that game and just to work with it. And also it's very cute. Let's just visit it, for example. And here you literally need to work with that frog. And for example, justify content. Yeah, and it jumps here. And we will go to next one. So yeah, I really highly recommend to use the tools to understand Flex, like really understand, and to understand all of that elements. And now we go to our Q&A session. Maybe you have some question about it before our classwork starts.
So while you're thinking, let me jump in and just emphasize how important is Flex. And one more abstraction, let's say, I want to bring here, like Ivan already explained it. I just want you very exactly to understand. I hope that camera could see this part of the whiteboard. So that we have with flags, we got an abstraction that we could play with objects here. And we just say that we could use horizontal direction, like we call it rho. Or we could substitute this variable, let's say, and we want to use column direction or like vertical. And everything we did here, we just make it like monitor, yes? We just make this turn or how to move, like, but everything which we created here, all this stuff, like it put here, it should be justified by that. It will work just the same. So we just we not keep it in mind only like we think about this horizontal paddings and so on. We just think about abstract like directions, and then we could just by variables we switch that directions. It helps a lot in web development. It helps a lot in other like mobile development. For example, we use a lot of, for example, Flutter. Ivan, by the way, also use React Native, like when you use the same principles. But this idea of flags that you think not like, oh, it is horizontal or it is vertical. No, you think just direction. In this main direction, we want it is put here, it puts here, it put here. And then we switch just direction and everything keep on the same places. So it is kind of a little bit difficult to explain. I want you just with that frog, or you could just play with that, especially in this classwork. But this flags is just powerful instrument. It is just amazing, mind-blowing, I could say, because I remember that layouting with tables, my goodness, how hard it was. And now when you have flags and you like, when you can center in the middle of container, anything, you already senior front-end developer, but flags really helps a lot. So please jump into flags, understand it, and especially in this classwork. So let's jump into classwork. If you have questions regarding that, so please ask your questions, or let's move with classwork.
Yeah, and here our classwork. You need, today I showed you that very beautiful web page, and today we will work with part of it. I need to open it in our canvas, but you will need for today's lesson repeat that design. It can be not pixel perfect, but you need to create that card. Place here let me open Figma 1 second. Yeah. You have here header, you need to place it. And also, by the way, very important mentioning about display when we speak about media queries, we can hide some elements. For example, here we have that links, but here on mobile adaptivity, we don't have that links. And we can hide that elements with display none. It immediately remove your components from the visual part of your code in your result web page, and users can't see them. So you can hide, for example, for mobile adaptivity, put some display none, and then write display flags or display block or something like that. And yes, and here you need to create that header with inline styles for that links and use display flags. And here you need to make that cards. And yeah, and work with flex wrap, flex direction, align items, and other stuff. And let me open that with link for the